Hi all, welcome to session 11 of our milestone project. And now we have only two tasks left in this project to complete. Okay, so in this session we are going to tackle our sixth task where we have to add final data into a tracker file. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's get started. I'm going into my Azure portal. My first task is going to be to start my virtual machine. If you have deleted your virtual machine, it is very easy to spin up a new one. And if you have already spin up a virtual machine and have stopped it in the after doing the practice of the last session, you can start it. Okay, so it is going to take couple of seconds, and while it is getting started, let me go to my data factory studio. I'm going into my milestone 1 folder and I'm going to modify my milestone 1 pipeline. Fine, so let me just reduce the size of the left hand side window so that we can see our pipeline in fullest. Auto align. Fine, so this is our pipeline. Okay, now in the last session what we did, we combined all the values into one array and we displayed it. Okay, now our job is to get the values into a file. Okay, now what we have to do is, let me see, I think the virtual machine has started. Fine, I am going to log into my WinSCP and I have already renamed my orders so that it is going to give me yesterday days. So it is going to be 3rd of May 2024. Okay, my setup is ready. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take the output of these filter conditions and I'm going to create a copy activity where we are going to put the data in the file. Okay, so let's get started. Now I'm going to use a copy activity. This copy activity is going to be used to move the order count into a tracker file. Okay, so let me rename the activity first. Put order count into tracker file. Fine. So copy activity requires two things. You have to have a source file and then you have to give a sync file. Okay, so in order to get a source file for this, we have to create an empty CSV file into our data lake. So let me go to my data lake. Okay, and I'm going to go in my container. In the source, in the variable input, I have already created a dummy.csv, and in this what I have done, I have created a serial number field and I have given a dummy value in that. Okay, why I have given that, I will explain you later once we are done with our configuration. But for now, make sure that you have a dummy CSV file in which you have a column and a value in it. Okay, now let me go back to containers. In this sync, I want to delete these two things because they are not needed. Fine, now coming back to our pipeline, I have to now create the filter of east, west, central and south to the copy activity. Okay, and fine, let me do auto align and we should be good. So this is where we are going to get the file created. So we have our file in the source, that is dummy.csv. So let's configure that. So I'm going to use my ADLS Gen2 storage. I'm going to give my file path. So it is in variable input in the source container and the name is dummy.csv. Okay, now you see this is an additional column field. I am going to create 4 fields. Okay, so now there will be 5 fields in our CSV because there was already one column serial number in the dummy CSV file that we already had created in our source. Okay, so I'm going to give east, west, central, and south as the column names. So these four column names will be created, and now I am just going to copy the expression of the filter condition. Okay, so here I am going to go into append variable, and I am going to take the activity output from this, and I am going to paste into our copy. So in the additional field, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and add a dynamic content. I'm going to convert my output into a string, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, similarly, just copy this and paste it into other three columns. Just make sure that you change the name of the activity. So it was for east in the last field, now it is for west. This is going to be for central, and last one is going to be for south. Okay, so what essentially you are doing, you are getting the filter items count. That means how many rows have been filtered by the filter activity as successful. Suppose if you have east and it says okay, out of 5,000, 1,000 something records are coming from the east region, it is going to give you that. After that, string is going to convert that integer into string. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Fine, so we have south. Cool, so let me just revalidate once more. East, we have west, we have central, and we have south. Fine, everything is looking good here. Now let's go and configure our sync. Again, I'm going to use my ADLS CSV dataset. Here I'm going to pass sync container, variable output. I think it was variable input in source. Yes, it was. And here I'm going to say dummy.csv. Okay, now the reason I have put a dummy column and a dummy data in that, we are going to use that to import our schema and then remove that column, so that we should only get the four columns that we need. So east, central, south, and west, only these four columns will be present after we remove that serial number column from the mapping. So it is asking me to put some dummy data. I have put it. It is not going to impact. It is just going to give us the schema. Okay, so again, you have serial number, then you have east, west, central, and south. I am going to click on this and I'm going to say delete. Okay, now we should only get these four columns. If I click on preview source, we should get only these four columns. So it should come like this. Okay, now we are done with our mapping setting. I'm not going to touch. Sync, everything is looking okay. Fine, for sake of simplicity, let me just put it here, because uh, how to do it, let me. Fine, I think this should be good. I think I have to align it in a way so that it is accessible. Fine, just give me a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, fine, so this is going to be my first filter, this is going to be my second, third, and there is fourth. Fine, so these are four filters, and after that we have append. So we have append here, append west here, append east here, append south here. Just bear with me for some time. Okay, cool. So we are getting the data for these four. Let me do auto align. No, I think that is the best optimization that we can get. Fine then. Okay, so we are going to copy our data and we are going to generate the counts and put it into our dummy file. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on debug. Let me go to my resource group and check the VM IP address. Mm, this is the IP address. As you know, right now we don't have anything in our sync container. Ideally, when we are done with this pipeline in the debug mode, we should get the order counts into a CSV file in our sync container. So that is the expectation. Okay, let's see how it goes. Project admin slash home slash project admin is our source location, sync and variable output. Okay, let's see. Fine, first two steps are done. Third step is executing. Third and fourth steps are done. Fifth one is going on. So we are in the if condition. If the file is not empty, it should go ahead. Okay, until is also done. We have the lookup file with us, and now we are checking the orders. Lookup is also complete. Filters are also done. Append variables are also done. Now we have for each and copy. So for each is also done. That means we should get the data in our message. Yeah, we are getting that. Now let's wait for the copy activity to finish. And as you see, copy activity is also done. Now I just want to see the input to the copy activity in order to validate whether we are getting the additional data that we have given into additional column fields. So if you see, we have additional columns where we have four columns: east, west, central and south. Okay, and their values are order counts from the first 5,000 rows. Okay, so now we should get the CSV file into the sync containers, sync variable output, dummy.csv, and yeah, so this is what we were expecting. We wanted to see the counts in the our in our tracker file. So you can see count is there for east, west, central and south region. Okay, so this is the second last task that we have completed. Fine. Now just to recap what we did, we created a copy data activity, step 1. We created a dummy file into our source where we had a column and a row in that particular file. Then what we did, we copied the filter output from the append variables into the additional column field of our source tab in a copy activity. So this was the third step. Okay, and in this what we did, we copied the filter items count attribute and converted into a string before putting into the column. Now after doing this, we went to sync and we did pretty standard stuff. We gave the container folder path file. That was the fourth step. In the fifth step, what we did, we imported the schema. That one serial number column that we had was kind of a anchor point from where we were able to build our schema. After that, we modified our mapping where we deleted that serial number so that it should not come into our final output file. Okay, so because of that, we only get 4 columns into our sync dummy CSV file. Okay, and then after that, we ran our pipeline and it was successfully giving us a tracker file in our variable output directory. Okay, now I am going to save my changes. Let me publish all. Okay, so our changes are successfully saved, and now we can call this particular task as closed. Okay, so this was session 11, and I think that would be all for today. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Please provide your feedback, whoever is following this particular practice with me. And also make sure that once you are done with the session, go to your resource group and shut down your virtual machine. This is very essential in order to keep the cost low. So I'm stopping my virtual machine. And whoever is a Star Wars fan, uh, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th with you. So, like, enjoy that day, watch Star Wars movies and all. Okay. So, just for the next session, we are going to tackle our last step, that is delete the file from SFTP location. And after that, we will be done with our first milestone project. Okay. So, let's meet tomorrow in the session 12. And till that, bye bye. Thank you so much.